apparently there's some jealousy that might be manifesting itself into physical inappropriate.
When Bill O'Reilly exposed how the WNBA has been treating Caitlin Clark, it sent shockwaves throughout the entire league as he argued that the situation goes far beyond tough fouls or normal on-court intensity, claiming instead that it is driven by envy, bitterness, and a deep hostility toward the league's brightest rising star.
Caitlin Clark is being fouled at a record rate. Some of them are brutal fouls, and a lot of the refs are looking the other way. And the women fouling her are doing it.
Bill O'Reilly is not holding back as he claims that Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise as a young white rookie in a league that is 64% black has sparked a level of envy the WNBA has rarely seen, arguing that this goes far beyond simple locker room chatter, and insisting he is presenting evidence that cannot be dismissed as mere coincidence.
But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls, like fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow.
The veteran commentator is bringing to light what many had quietly suspected, but few were willing to say openly, arguing that the WNBA's treatment of Caitlin Clark extends beyond the game itself and reflects deeper issues involving envy, racial dynamics, and a league seemingly so consumed by resentment that it appears prepared to undermine its own golden star rather than fully celebrate her achievements.
Caitlin Clark has had a seismic impact on the WNBA ever since she first joined. Merchandise sales increased over 600%, league app engagement over 600%, subscriptions to the league pass over 400%, and the team she plays for, the Indiana Fever, tripled.
When Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, she did not just make waves, but exploded onto the scene in a league that had been stuck in neutral, quickly becoming the biggest name in women's basketball by topping merchandise sales, dominating headlines, and driving ticket demand, as the Indiana Fever, who struggled to fill seats the previous year, suddenly found themselves playing in packed arenas everywhere.
Sales are up 400% of WNBA jerseys just because of her presence, but her presence is resented by about 80% of the other.
Since Caitlin Clark arrived, the Indiana Fever's value has tripled. Yet rather than fully embracing the biggest surge the league has experienced in decades, some players and even referees seem more intent on tearing her down, both physically on the court and psychologically in her mind.
But despite all that success that she's immediately had, the league has basically looked the other way as she's been targeted on a weekly basis, and that targeting is putting her career at risk.
And yet, since she's joined the league as a rookie, she's been abused. She's been abused over and over again by these other players. And reportedly, it's a race thing, that many black women inside the WNBA are resentful that this white woman came in and is getting all this attention. Nobody disputes that she's an amazing basketball player, but still they seem resentful and angry.
Bill O'Reilly points out that it is no coincidence Caitlin Clark has drawn more flagrant fouls in her rookie season than anyone else, more than twice as many as the next player, arguing that this is not just a random statistic, but a clear pattern. And according to him, the intent is obvious, as these are not merely hard defensive plays, but deliberate attacks.
So she is taking on harder fouls and at a higher rate than any of her peers. So it turns out that in her rookie season, she absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls, or hard fouls, more than double the rate of any of her peers. This is not something that you would see occur to any other top star in any other league. And I think a lot of fans are scratching their heads of why the league is allowing this to continue, especially given the economic impact that she's having on the league, which they've so desired for decades.
And the referees seem almost complicit, allowing Clark to absorb heavy contact in the paint without whistles. And while casual viewers might dismiss it as ordinary physical play, anyone watching closely can sense something more intentional and coordinated, making it feel so blatant that it appears as though the entire league wants Caitlin Clark to fail on purpose.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving, bumping up against each other. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about targeting a player time and time again. And during this game, another Suns player shoves Clark to the floor. So let's take a look.
Oh, and Marina Mabrey's going to get ejected.
Now, All right, you're seeing what's happening here. They're going after her, and this isn't isolated. This has been going on her whole rookie year, and now it's going on in their...
And it is not only what happens on the court, as Bill O'Reilly also highlights public remarks from high-profile WNBA analysts and players such as Aya Wilson, who openly suggested that Clark's massive buzz is connected to race fueling and even wider debate about fallout and media bias surrounding her rise.
Wilson, who is a three-time MVP of the league. She's won the championship for the Las Vegas Aces. She came out and addressed the attention that Caitlin Clark is getting, and she said it's absolutely has to do with race. And then, quote, it boils her blood when people try and say that it's not about race.
That is far from subtle, as it drives a narrative suggesting Caitlin Clark's success is somehow undeserved and illegitimate, fueling resentment on the court and transforming what should be healthy competition into a toxic personal battle every time she steps onto the floor, while the perceived hypocrisy becomes glaring when one considers the outrage that would erupt if white players were targeting a black superstar with the same level of intensity.
The cost for being black and racist against Caitlin Clark? Zero. In fact, being racist against Caitlin Clark might actually benefit a black woman's overall brand, because that is encouraged.
The double standard reveals much about the identity politics corrupting what should be pure competition, as these racial biases not only jeopardize player safety, but also threaten to undermine everything the league has worked to build.
The majority in the league, which is black women, has done everything they can to not welcome Caitlin Clark to the league. Why?
So, unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of commentary that's being made by players when they're on camera and they know reporters are watching that show that there is a racial...
It is like watching factory workers destroy their most productive machine out of jealousy, as the situation has escalated so far that even LeBron James spoke out criticizing the absurdity of fellow pros attempting to sabotage a player simply for living her dream, while Bill O'Reilly's most explosive claim strikes at the legal heart of the controversy, suggesting that Caitlin Clark's treatment could potentially violate Title VII of the Civil Rights Act by creating a hostile work environment, with parallels to workplace discrimination cases highlighted by the Wall Street Journal. And O'Reilly contends the solution is clear: fire the commissioner, fix officiating, and protect players from targeted attacks, especially Caitlin Clark, warning that if the league does not act, federal authorities, or even Congress, may need to intervene, because when your biggest star and the league's economic engine is being sabotaged from within, it is not just bad business, it is self-destruction.